Aloha Hula Supply.
Hey friends, I'm Kelina Eldredge. Since we've been doing all these Vala'au sessions with the different artists and businesses, we figured we'd introduce ourselves here at Aloha Hula Supply. And so this is my mom, Sue Eldredge, owner of Aloha Hula Supply. And we just wanted to give a little bit introduction. So Mom, when did you start dancing hula?
I started hula as a child here in Aiea at Makalapa Rec Center. And then our family moved to Nanakuli Homestead. And I took a little bit more serious training from Robert and Charmaine Mokiao in the Keikilani dance troupe. I actually trained Tahitian dancer with hula and Maori and Samoan dances as well. After high school, I went to the University of Hawaii and was hired at the Kodak Hula Show. For 2 years I was there. It was a lot of fun because I was a student. So I had to catch the bus from UH and with my tea leaf skirt in hand and running to the show, throwing off all the clothes to get on the line just in time. But there are some other people that danced on that line there's so many people that went through the Kodak Hula Show. Many kumuhula as young dancers, but Auntie Le Momiho is one that I remember because she was always so kind. She was a dancer on the line, and I would be sitting at the bus stop after the show with my skirt, and once again, she would stop with her white van, pick me up, and actually take me back to school so I wouldn't have to catch the bus back. And that happened regularly, 3 times a week. Auntie was so kind, and she would pick me up and take me back to school. So that was wonderful. Yeah. Also, there was Auntie Shar Campbell was actually the line captain for decades. I believe she ran it. She was decades, and she's still a good friend today. And she sings with Kumu Chinky Mahoi. Yeah, so wonderful people, wonderful experience. But that was only 2 years. And then I transferred to BYU, Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, where I danced on scholarship with the Lamanite generation. And this was an international group. This was not only Polynesian, but it had Indian and Latin dances as well. But I was lucky enough to dance there, and we traveled, all over the U.S. We did tours in New Mexico, in California, in New York, as we were heading for an international tour. We went to East and West Germany and Austria. So that was a wonderful time.
Great experiences.
Yeah, wonderful time.
I think it's so great how they got to travel the world and experience so many things at such a young age.
It was a lot of fun.
But when did you come home then, and how did the studio start?
Well, Dad and I got married in '89, and then we came home to Hawaii back in 1990. And we worked, normal jobs. But then by then I had so I had 2 kids and was pregnant with number 3. And it's almost ridiculous to have to pay childcare for 3 kids and work. So it was no sense. So I decided I had to find a way to supplement our income. So I called my kumu, asked for their permission because there's a process there, a protocol that you need to follow. Got her permission to open my own dance studio. And this is a Polynesian-based dance studio. This is what I knew, right? So hula, Tahitian, Maori, and Samoan. We started in our garage. That was Kulani Dance Studio, right? We started that in
1996.
96. You were 2.
I was 2.
She was my youngest dancer, the youngest dancer in the studio. We started with a small group of maybe 12 in our garage, and we did that for
13 years.
13 years we did
2009.
Yeah, so you danced for me since the age of 2 to 14?
Yeah.
About 13 or 14 years old.
Too much math.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, though. But that way, I think that's where maybe your passion, I love dancing, right?
Yeah.
So dancing was my life. I've always loved dancing, performing. And then it took on a different realm. After I stopped dancing, I became the teacher, right? And then I got to see that in my children's eyes. So all 4 of my children danced for the dance studio.
I loved dancing for my mom because really that's where my passion of dancing started, was at that young age at 2. I would, growing up through it all, through this dance studio, and then I became her helper when I was,
She was my right hand.
Yeah.
For my classes, we had keiki classes that were 3 years old, and we had 23-year-olds. So I couldn't do it alone. So Kelina after school would come, and she would be my little alakai. She would be there to help me. We had to line up 20 little kids at a time. So it was awesome. But I think that's where
really where it all started. Yeah, that's definitely where the passion started. And then I went to Kamehameha. Well, I was at Kamehameha my entire life, but in high school, I got into the ensemble program under Kumukaleo Trinidad. And that in itself gave me a little bit more formal halau training, although it was only through Kamehameha schools. But I learned a lot more of the cultural aspect of hula at that point.
Because we were mainly performance
We
based.
did very entertainment based.
Polynesian, Hula, Tahitian, Maori,
Yeah.
and Samoan. So when you went to Kamehameha, you got to focus on more,
The hula and
aspect.
the culture aspect of hula.
which is wonderful.
Yeah,
It
which is a
broadened your
good
horizon.
foundation.
Yeah. The goal with my children and all my dancers was to teach them to be able to use this skill. I was able to put myself through college by dancing. So I wanted them to be able to go to Waikiki and be able to get a job and you have to pay for college. So Kelina at 15 years old,
I
got
started,
hired in Waikiki.
Yeah, I started at the Star of Honolulu for a few months. Didn't last long, and then I ended up dancing for Derek Daniels Productions at the International Marketplace at 15.
But she was a minor. So every time they had late night gigs, she didn't even
Well,
drive.
I didn't even drive,
So I
yes.
had to drive her every day after work, pick her up, drive her into Waikiki, stay there for the show, drive her home. And that happened like at least three
Three
times
times a week, I think we
Yeah.
did it.
So we got very close. We were already close.
We
But then
were
we got
already-
closer with, with her dancing, with her.
She was just a really good dance mom, always there, always around.
Always around.
But always helping and making me grow as a dancer for sure.
It was a lot of fun. It was good times.
Yeah.
Welcome to our Pasifika, powered by the world's largest Polynesian dance store, Aloha Hula Supply. Become a member to enjoy video content, monthly specials, quarterly giveaways, and discounts on premium workshops. Together, let's learn, share, teach, and grow as we uplift our cultures and support each other. Mahalo!